Welcome to the channel, guys, and let me introduce you to our first generation HSE Discovery 3, which we won at auction with a bid of just £475. Now, it does have its issues. So the suspension is failing. It won't drive around a corner. It's got flood damage and it's done over 200,000 miles. But we're going to fix it up, get it MOT'd, get it safe to drive, and we're going to take it on a trip to the highest point in the Alps, all for a budget of £3,000. Now, I picked this particular car out from the auction because it had a full service history. That's one of the great points about it. It had 2 sets of keys. It even has the key for the tow bar. So somebody has genuinely loved this vehicle. Now, it was listed as running and driving, but you could never be 100% what that means. It might just mean that it can drive onto a low loader or it can go backwards and forwards. You just don't know. And in this case, that was the case, so it just wouldn't go around a corner, and I'm pretty sure I know what the problem is, and I think I've identified it to do something to do with the steering angle sensor. So before we spend any money on the Disco 3, we need to do some investigation. So the key points are, obviously, we need to check all the fluids. So we've checked the oil and water, and that's all good. We were really lucky because actually the battery on this vehicle is a good battery, and we've managed to get it up to full charge, and that's going to save us about 130 quid. Not only that, while we're on the good stuff, it's also came with a full tank of fuel, which kind of led me to believe that obviously it's had some sort of catastrophic failure and just been parked up, because this hasn't gone anywhere for a year. So what exactly do you get for your money? Well, you get 4 reasonable tyres. We've got side steps that actually aren't corroded and loose, so we've got plenty of strength in there. And another place you need to check on these vehicles, which we're lucky, is down here. You do get corrosion on this arch. Now, we haven't got any. We've got a little bit coming through here, but I have prodded that and it doesn't seem to have gone through. Even behind the plastic, we're all good. And we've got parking sensors front and rear because it's an HSE, and as I said, we've got a nice tow bar that's worth a bit of money because we probably don't need this. So if we want to put some money back into our budget, we could sell this on eBay. We've got the key for it, which is completely unheard of. So as soon as it came off the trailer, we noticed that it was slamming the brakes on every time you turn the wheels onto a corner. So if you were just maneuvering at low speed and you turn the wheels, the ABS would kick in, the traction control would stop you lurching, it would make the vehicle judder, and you couldn't go anywhere other than a straight line. Now, I knew that was something to do with the steering angle sensor, and I confirmed that because luckily this has got the 4x4 display system on the dash, and you could see that the wheels weren't moving at all when I was moving the steering wheel. So it was getting no input from the steering angle sensor into the system to let it know what it was doing. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is look at that steering angle sensor, see what the problem is, and try and get that resolved. Do a bit of a, if you like, a field repair on it to get the vehicle running and driving how it should. Get some information to the system, so the off-road system, the suspension system, and the special programs control unit, and then it should go around the corner without too many issues. When we've done that, we can start taking it for a test drive just to see if we've got any other issues, and then we're going to throw it in for an MOT. So I think this is our culprit for the suspension, because I've left the vehicle over the weekend with some tape on here to demonstrate whether or not our suspension's holding air or not. And to be fair, they've all sagged a little bit over the weekend. Nothing terrible, and certainly I did leave it in the off-road mode, so those were quite compressed with air, and they would naturally sag a little bit, I think. But if you leave them in the standard height, they should hold their air indefinitely, really, as long as you haven't got any leaks. But this did drop quite a lot, and we suffered a little bit today on our drive with this suspension going down. Our goal ultimately, because we're taking this on a big trip and we're trying to do it within budget, we don't want any catastrophic failures on that trip. So the best thing in my mind to do would be to eliminate the air suspension, although we're going to suffer a little bit with comfort. Eliminate the air suspension, get some coil springs on there, some coil suspension, and then we just don't have to worry about it. And with the Dunlop system, you can actually eliminate any of the issues that you'd have, and you can still use the special programs, which we might have to do when we get high up in the Alps. It does need a thorough wash, but this is nothing compared to the horrors that lay inside the vehicle. So I've cleaned the front seat because that's the one I've got to sit on. The driver's seat has been cleaned a little bit, but this has suffered from flooding. Now, I say it's got flood damage. It's not been in any deep water. What's happened is it's been laid up with the passenger side windows open, which I can't understand why that would be the case, but that is how it was reported when we bought it from auction. So we've gone into the vehicle, there's mould on every single surface, and it's basically a swimming pool inside. Now, I've never removed so much water from one footwell than I have on this. We've sucked out about 2 litres of water there already. So one big job we're going to have to do on this vehicle is to rip out the whole interior. Now, just before we get into a couple of jobs, let me tell you what we're going to do after our trip. So for charity, what we're doing is we're auctioning the vehicle off at the end of the challenge. All the profit will go to charity, but not only that, we've teamed up with Sealey Tools, and they've given us £1,500 worth of tools that we're going to be using to do the repair work on the vehicle. It's quite a comprehensive toolkit that I've put together that I think I would want to take with me on a trip, on an overland trip or an expedition trip. But they're the tools I think I could probably fix most jobs with. It's £1,500 worth of tools, brand new from Sealey Tools, and they're going to be given away with the vehicles. But of course, we don't know what's going to happen, so the vehicle might catastrophically fail at the top of the highest point in the Alps. We just don't know. I mean, I hope not. I hope we get there and come back safely and we have a great time. Okay, we are in with the Diagnostic. Ooh, nice load of faults there. We love a few faults. Wow. 55 faults. That is probably a record. So let's do a quick erase. So it seems to be wanting to put our brakes on. No, it still doesn't. Ooh. Now what you'll notice here is this is my steering wheel position. And that's incorrect because I've actually got my wheels are straight. What I need the vehicle to do is recognise and get information from the steering. So if I can do that, it's got more chance of us actually getting somewhere, because at the moment I just think it's got completely confused as to where our wheels are. Right, you can see it's just not moving with it at all. I'm spinning it with my hand, and if you look here as I spin it, the wheels are moving. So up here we've got our steering angle sensor, and this, you can see how loose this is. Now we've managed to free off the shaft from the knuckle, and I've just tapped off the knuckle, and then I've just moved this down. There's enough telescopic movement in this to get it to go down out of the way. Hopefully to slide the unit off that knuckle. Okay, so the first thing we're going to try is, you can just see, hopefully, I've put a zip tie around the steering column behind this plastic piece. Now that's a little bit fat there, so I'm going to trim the remainder of the clip like that. I'm going to try and poke it in. There we go. Now hopefully that should push it against the knuckle. Oh, that's really good. So I think all we've got left to do is get some super glue in there to bind it to this knuckle. So now we've got that collar, I hope, secured to the steering column. We've put the sensor, the steering angle sensor, back in place, and we haven't connected the steering column up yet because I want to see if it's receiving the information. You can just see here, look, it is working, and that's just off here. Okay, I'm going to do another steering calibration, and you can see here, look, so I've got my wheels are straight, my wheel is straight, and we're going to just go on here. Hopefully that's going to recenter. Come on. There. Right. So our wheels are straight. We're all calibrated. So let's see what happens. We'll get the column put back together and see what happens. So you should notice now we don't have any issues with our steering. So that really did resolve the issue. Now, it's not a permanent fix. It's definitely a field repair, if you like. But I'm really pleased that it's given us the chance to drive the vehicle about. get some miles under its belt because it's not been driven for so long, and just to see if we come across any other issues. Now, I'm pretty confident that I can throw this into an MOT. So I have already booked it into an MOT tomorrow morning at 9 AM. We don't have the time to do anything else with it, so we've managed to fix the steering. All the seat belts work, all the lights appear to work, the brakes seem to work, there's not too much smoke coming out the back, so I'm pretty confident on the emissions. So really, we're in a position now where we throw it in for an MOT and see what happens. So that's where we'll pick up on the next video. We'll let you know if we've got an MOT or what we need to do to the vehicle to get it through an MOT, and I'll catch you on the next one.